Alright, so let's look at another problem with integration by parts. This is going to be my third example. And here's the formula. U and V are differentiable functions, and then the integral u dv is equal to uv minus the integral v du. And once again, the dv, we want to let it be the more complicated function, provided that there's an integration rule for that function, and then u will be the other part of it. Alright, so let's take a look at this third example. We're going to integrate arc sine x. Alright, so we've got arc sine x here, and of course that is the more complicated, but there's no integration rule for it. Okay, so what are we going to let dv equal? We can't let it equal arc sine x, so we'll let dv equal what? dx. Okay, so we're going to let that equal dx, so that means v is equal to the integral dx, and then that's like a 1 there, and if we integrate 1, that's just x, and so u is going to be arc sine x. So that means du is equal to, now do you remember your formula for the derivative of arc sine? That's 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared dx. Okay, you can go back and look at your formulas. They'll be in that chapter with the inverse trig functions when you're taking the derivative. Alright, so now we can do integration by parts. So let's just go ahead and write the formula down. That's u dv is equal to uv minus the integral v du. Alright, so now we have, let's rewrite our problem. We've got arc sine x dx is equal to u, and in this case u is arc sine, okay, times v, and v is x, so u times v, so I'm going to write it as x times arc sine x minus the integral of v, and in this case v is x, times du. And what's du? Well, it's this whole thing right here. So that's 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared dx. Alright, so now we have to integrate this thing, and you can see here that we're going to have to do what? We're going to have to use u substitution. Okay, so let me go ahead and rewrite this. So that's going to be x times arc sine x minus the integral. Okay, and that's going to be, let's write it as, we're going to change this to 1 minus x squared to the 1/2, and then when we move it from the denominator to the numerator, it'll change the sign of the exponent, and so that's going to be 1 minus, I said 1 and wrote an x, so that's going to be 1 minus x squared to the negative 1/2 times, I'll leave a little room there, times x dx. Alright, so to do my u substitution, I'm going to let u equal 1 minus x squared. So we're going to let u equal 1 minus x squared. So du is going to be, take the derivative of this, that's going to be negative 2x dx. Now, remember how to do the u substitution. Well, the u I'm going to put in the place of 1 minus x squared. And then you see this here, this negative 2x dx. Well, all I have is x dx. I need my negative 2. So I'm going to multiply by negative 2. And if I multiply by negative 2, I have to come outside here and multiply by the reciprocal of that. And that's let me see if I can get a little more room here. So there's x minus. So I got to come out here and multiply by the reciprocal of negative 2, which is negative 1/2. Okay, so now I can replace everything. So that's going to give me x arc sine x, and then the negative and negative, that's going to give me the plus. And then this is in the 1 minus x squared, I'm going to put u, so that's u to the negative 1/2. And in the place of negative 2x dx, see the negative 2x dx, I'm going to put du. Okay. Oh, and I forgot my 1/2. Okay. The minus and the minus is a plus, and then that's just plus 1/2. Alright, so now we get x arc sine x plus 1/2. And then what do I do here? I add 1, so that's going to be u to the 1/2, and then I multiply by the reciprocal of my new exponent, so that's times 2 and plus c. Okay. So now we have x arc sine x, and then the 2's here, they cancel, and that's going to be plus, those cancel. Now u to the 1/2, and in the place of u, I'm going to put this back, 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 plus c. And then I guess you could leave it like this. I don't think it would make much difference. Probably depends on may depend on who your teacher is. But let's just go ahead and write it as x arc sine x plus, and then let's change this 1/2 power. Let's change it back to square root, and then that would be plus c. And this would be your answer. And I hope that's helped, and hope you'll check out my other videos, and if you like them, you can subscribe. Alright, thanks.